Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 29th, 2025 Board of Police Commissioners meeting. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of Treaty 4 territory, a treaty signed with 35 First Nations across southern Saskatchewan and parts of Alberta and Manitoba, and the original lands of Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and on the homeland of Métis Nation. The city of Regina owes its strength and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse indigenous people whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as the settlers from around the world we continue to welcome here and call Regina home. So in today's meeting, the first item is approval of public agenda. Can I have the motion to approve the public agenda, please? Thanks, Manmit. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. The next item is adoption of the meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes held on March 25th, 2025? Thank you. Any errors or omission? I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. All right, the first report for today is PO 25-9, which is 2024 district year end of reports. Can I ask Chief Davis to introduce the report, please?
You bet. Good morning. Good morning, Chair Bither, Your Worship, members of the Commission, our media friends, members of the public, members of RPS. Thank you very much for being here this morning. So every year we bring our district reports. So it's essentially our North District, Central District, and South District, a summation of the year previous. And so it's a good opportunity to understand maybe specific issues or challenges that are occurring in each district and some of the highlights of the specialty units that fall within those districts. So we have 3 inspectors who will be doing those reports this morning. Inspector Sean Fenwick will be presenting North District, Inspector Brad Walter will be doing Central, and Inspector Chris Jackie will be doing the South. So I believe I'll invite Inspector Fenwick up first to present North District. And certainly if members of the board have questions, maybe after each district, it might be helpful while we have the presenter up there to ask questions, and then we can move on to the next district. I will turn it over to Sean.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the board, mayor, chair, deputy. Thanks for the introduction. Appreciate the opportunity to share some information about the North District as well as the units that fall within the North District. So the North District includes the area within the city limits, north of the Canadian Pacific Main Rail Line, with the exception of the North Central community. The geographic area also includes the Paul Dojak Youth Center. The district is divided into 3 zones: the Northwest, the Northeast, and the West Zone. The Community Service Division North District is currently overseen by 1 inspector and 1 staff sergeant who are responsible for the North District members within 4 patrol shifts. The Traffic Safety Unit and the CTSS, Combined Traffic Safety Services, as well as the Crime Stoppers Community Programs Officer, also falls within the district. The Regina Police Service Tactical Analysis report on crime trends and collect data. This information is shared and reported daily and is used to identify hotspots within the city. This information is critical and provides the district staff sergeants with a valuable opportunity to effectively direct resources and develop timely strategies. The district staff sergeant also considers current concerns from city councilors, community associations, citizens, and frontline members. The district staff sergeant provides frontline officers with proactive policing hotspots and targets for enforcement and areas where we should be proactive. So we'll start with crimes against property in the North District. Property crime in the North District in 2024 accounted for 26.1% of all reported property crimes in the city of Regina, slightly lower than the levels in 2023. In 2023, we saw a decrease in the overall property crimes and in terms of property crime violations. The most significant changes was a 33% decrease in theft from autos, a 30% decrease in theft of autos. Mischief violations decreased by 23%, and break and enters also decreased by 18%. So overall, that was a 25% decrease in the total number of violations. Crimes against the person. In the North District in 2024, that accounted for 24.3% of all reported crimes against the person in the city of Regina, compared to 25.3% in 2023. The North District saw a slight increase in assaults, only 2.6%, and a decrease in robberies, 39% compared to 2023. So I believe that difference in 2023 to 2024 was a bit of an anomaly because the 2024 numbers and the 2022 numbers are almost identical. So a little bit of a spike in 2023 was a little off, I think. Overall, it's very consistent. The 3-year comparison shows just under 11,000 occurrences in each of the last 3 years. The percentage change is extremely minimal, with a total of 68. That's 0.63% fewer occurrences reported in 2024 compared to 2023. Very consistent. Areas of note and moving forward is areas of focus for us is the Warehouse District. We work closely with the Warehouse District as well as their new executive director. We do that with many community associations. Some of the downtown issues have a tendency to drift into the Warehouse District. There's a significant construction project going on right now, obviously, between Dudney Avenue between Broad and Albert. So we're keeping an eye on that. It's something we'll continue to monitor. Louvain Crossing. We've noticed increases in complaints and calls for service in this area over the past few years. Most calls are related to property crime offenses, loitering issues, unwanted guests. Rosemont Mount Royal Community Association is very engaged, one of the most engaged in our city, so we do work close with them. We try and just stay in touch with them to understand what's going on, and we really try and be proactive there. Obviously, we work with all 16 community associations, currently in the process of leveraging those community associations for the Community On initiative with a focus on the camera registry. And then I also want to touch on the Complex Needs Emergency Shelter that falls within our district. It's at Pioneer Village. This is a provincial government initiative providing space and a dedicated on-site healthcare professional and professionals, actually, security personnel. Provides alternate secure location for the Regina Police Service, where we can take an individual who's intoxicated and exhibiting signs of intoxication by drug or alcohol. They're brought to the facility, monitored for up to 24 hours, and from there they are given opportunities for supports and support with their addictions especially. So it opened in August. We're optimistic about the partnership, and we've seen some success stories, definitely. Further to that, the Traffic Safety Unit also falls within the North District in terms of areas of responsibility. It has one administrative member as well as 10 operational members, so a total of 11 for 2024. The administrative team consists of that sergeant who works Monday to Friday overseeing the operation. The operational traffic safety consists of 2 teams. For 2024, it was 1 corporal and 4 constables, and they work a 12-hour rotation on the street. The officers assigned to traffic safety divide their time between emergency call response, where they serve as first responders. They provide backup and assistance to our patrol members during peak times of service and peak times of call volume. They're also primary responders to serious or fatal collisions and conduct enforcement of the criminal code and all provincial statutes. They serve as educators, doing regular instructing at the Police College, Citizens Police Academy, SGI's Driving Without Impairment course, driver instructor courses, and at various schools in the community. Currently, the Regina Police Service has members with specialized collision reconstruction investigator training who are called on to all serious and fatal collisions. They also maintain that equipment. This team was formalized at the end of 2023. So for 2024 was the first time that we saw this unit kind of as an organized group. Their members are required to obtain extensive training similar to that of our forensic identification unit, and lots of mandatory requirements for them. So we also have drug recognition experts that specialize in impaired driving investigations. They also have extensive training. So a little sneak peek for 2025. We introduced a subunit for traffic safety. It's a pilot project. We identified 4 members with specialized training relating to ICART, that's the investigative stuff, and drug recognition. So those members will provide ongoing support and expertise in the subject areas of accident investigation and impaired driving investigations. The The team will also provide proactive enforcement relating to suspended and disqualified high-risk driving offenders in our community. Day-to-day administrative functions fall to the TSU sergeant. These functions include supervision of 2 traffic teams, budgets, traffic plans, traffic projects, taxi tow rideshare licensing, parade permits, amplification permits, taxi camera system downloads, maintenance on all the equipment. They also liaise with City of Regina traffic engineers, Justice, SGI on ongoing police traffic initiatives, and they also serve on many boards and committees. I will tell you the quantity of parade permits and rideshare applications have increased exponentially, testing the capacities of the unit. In 2024, the RPS processed 2,326 taxi tow rideshare applications. Taxi and tow rideshare applications remain relatively the same. Taxi do, but rideshare is up. Rideshare applications dramatically increased from 23 to 24, 1398 up to 1633. So it's an important service we provide. However, the service will be difficult to sustain given the current steady upward trend. We have created some efficiencies, but we're still working towards creating some more. In 2024, TSU issued 12,082 summary offense tickets compared to 13,213 in 2023. It was an 8.6% decrease. This decrease can be explained, I would say, probably because of the strength of the team decreased by 2 members. That was due to a redeployment. However, in 2025, we are back to that initial strength from 2023. So I think this should help us with our enforcement for this current year. We have also partnered again with the City of Regina on traffic projects, including the continuation of the overdrive program, as well as the intersection enforcement program, using funds from automatic speed enforcement to help fund these programs. So they target areas of high volume, high collision intersections, traffic complaint areas, and areas around social drinking establishments. Provincially, working with SGI, the TSU contributed to the Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, otherwise known as STEP. We send members to various locations throughout the province, including a project which was held here in Regina last September, where we had 45 members from across the province assisting us with our issues in Regina. 2024, TSU implemented mandatory alcohol screening during a few select months. The trial went very well, so for 2025, we have implemented mandatory alcohol screening for our TSU on a full-time basis. I'll tell you, we're leaders in mandatory alcohol screening across the province. We beat the RCMP to this, and they have followed up, as well as many municipal agencies from around the province, so I think a lot of people are hopping on board. Automatic speed enforcement. There are 3 AS automatic speed enforcement cameras at various locations in the city, 2 in select school zones and 1 in the Ring Road. 25,360 tickets issued in 2024 compared to 21,841 in 2023. Red light camera program. It operates 4 cameras at 3 intersections. There were 1,832 tickets issued in 2024 compared to 1,444 in 2023, so up a little bit. So besides that, we have our Regina Police Service Combined Traffic Safety Services, otherwise known as CTSS. In 2024, the unit consisted of 2 sergeants, 8 constables. CTSS unit works closely with the RCMP, other municipal CTSS units, Sask Highway Patrol, SGI, and CBSA, as well as the citizens of Regina and surrounding areas. CTSS unit is funded by the Government of Saskatchewan and is part of the Provincial Protection and Response Team. CTSS unit mandate is to spend approximately 1/3 of their time in Regina and 2/3 on the highways around Regina. So there are 23 CTSS units in Saskatchewan, ranging in size from 2 members to up to 10 members like Regina and Saskatoon. CTSS regularly involved themselves in events in Regina, such as parades, protests, and rallies. They have 5 patrol vehicles and 2 motorcycles. They have equipment such as radar, automatic license plate recognition systems, roadside breath testing equipment, and laser speed enforcement. In 2024, RPS CTSS issued 17,217 pieces of paper, including warnings, inspections, and tickets. Of notes, just about 4,000 of those tickets, so 40%, were issued within the city of Regina. We see this group making a huge impact on the highways around Regina. They're involved in drug trafficking investigations, human trafficking, seizing illegal property, stolen property, as well as illegal cigarettes. So lots of impact around the city for people that eventually enter into our city. And last, we have the Crime Stoppers Community Programs position. In 2024, Crime Stoppers received 832 tips, 26 arrests were made, 24 cases cleared. We saw numbers of tips, arrests, and charges and cases cleared similar to last year and the year before, a little bit down in the area of property seized. That just goes to the nature of the tips being received. And I also want to mention about 2/3 of the tips are never claimed. The Crime Stoppers Coordinator also administers community programs such as the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association and Citizens on Patrol program. That's a wrap for the North District. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer whatever you might have.
Thank you, Inspector Fenwick. Anyone have any questions? Good.
Looks like we're seeing a general decline in crime stats again, so good there, thank you. My question is in relation to the parades. We're seeing an increase in those applications, as you noted. We're coming up on our kind of spring-summer season where most of those will be taking place. Now, in light of the recent Vancouver vehicle ramming attacks, I wonder if you could speak a little bit to how the police, in unison with the city, prepares to ensure kind of the public safety in relation to blockades for those types of events. Thank you.
Yeah, it's part of the planning process is finding a safe route. We do have members who specialize in planning these events. It's always on our mind. Part of what we do when we plan those events is gauge the risk. A risk assessment is calculated, I guess, depending on what the rally or parade is about. We will involve our intelligence officers in the Regina Integrated Intelligence Unit, as well as members here monitor social media. So, we do have a lot of experience in that area, especially with bigger events like Grey Cup and rider games that we do plan that takes into consideration things like we just saw in Vancouver. So it's part of a risk assessment, and that's always thought of when we're planning these events.
If I can, Commissioner,
Sure.
sorry. I think similar to with CFL, when we had that attack a number of years ago, we changed the way that we did business in terms of utilizing heavy equipment and to block those types of thoroughfares. And so, fortunately, I guess we learn from other instances in terms of what we can do better to prevent tragedies like happened over the weekend. So that'll certainly be something that we give additional consideration to going forward this year based on that tragic event. And so, I think certainly, as Inspector Fenwick has mentioned, we will do our due diligence to ensure that we can, have safety for everybody that's involved in those events for sure.
No, great. That's very encouraging to hear that there's quite a bit of process behind those applications in regards to community safety. Thank you.
Anything else? Inspector Fenwick, I have one question on, you indicated about the rideshare application. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, what does that means and why the increases? And obviously, it's a pressure for...
Yeah, you know what? I think the ride shares, for example, the Ubers, we're seeing, I think, more people utilize that service compared to taxi tows. And there is no limit on the ride share application. So a company like Uber, I guess the more drivers they have, they feel the better service they can provide citizens. So our bylaw in Regina and the way that we do the checks on those individuals is quite intense. So over the past 3 or 4 years, we've seen that number steadily increasing. And I mentioned we did create some efficiencies, but we don't want to take any shortcuts in terms of the security clearance that the precautions we take in granting those licenses. I think it's a trend that a lot of cities are seeing. We definitely have identified that as an issue that we have to keep our eyes on to ensure that we aren't making any sacrifices in terms of the security clearances that we're giving.
So they are coming to the police station, I'm guessing, to get the security clearance?
It starts online, and then they do come to the front desk, and then the clearance itself is tasked to our traffic safety section to provide those checks through SGI and then through our local databases, including CPIC, the Canadian Police Information Center.
So I'm guessing that will involve some manual involvement.
Absolutely, yeah. Each one, there's not a template. Each one gets looked at individually, and a separate check is done for each person.
So is that a revenue stream for RPS, or there is no fees involved with that, I'm guessing?
There are fees, yes. Did you say it's a new thing?
No, I said, is it a revenue generating?
I think it's a cost recovery, and perhaps Tracy can speak to that a little bit better, but I think it's a cost recovery. Am I correct? No fees. Thanks for correcting me on that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
That's all I got.
Quick supplement to that, you mentioned CPIC and SGI's involvement. So outside of the criminal background check, on the SGI side of things, is the driver's abstract also factor into that
Correct,
license
yes.
issuance?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So those two portions. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Inspector Fenwick.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. We'll have Inspector Chris Jackie come up to do the South District report, and we'll move on from there.
Mr. Chair, if I can just add during the transition here, for the CTSS and the provincial projects, we utilize the RPS vehicles, and oftentimes public will ask why they're stopped or issued a ticket by an RPS member south of Melville or east of Swift Current. It's because of these projects. We don't have set vehicles that are provincial. They are RPS members and RPS vehicles, just for your information.
Thank you.
Good. All right, good morning, Mayor Bashinsky, Chair Bither, councillors, and members of the board. Thanks for having me here today. I'm Chris Jackie. I'm the inspector in charge of the South District. I'm pleased to share with you an overview of the 2024 South District year-end report. This report reflects the dedicated work of our officers and partners, the evolving needs of our community, and the results we've seen across crime trends, community programming, and collaborative initiatives. So the South District of the Community Services Division is led by one inspector, myself, one staff sergeant, and together we oversee all South District personnel across 4 patrol shifts, as well as manage specialized programs, including the School Resource Officer Program, or SRO, the Police and Crisis Team, or PACT, and Regina Intersectoral Partnership, or TRIP. We use a lot of acronyms if you haven't noticed already. So the South District is one of Regina's most rapidly growing areas. It encompasses 4 main zones: south, southeast, southwest, and east. These are all south of the railway tracks, as Inspector Fenwick identified. Areas like Harbour Landing and the Greens on Gardner continue to expand, which brings both opportunity and challenges in how we police and support these communities. To address this growth effectively, we've maintained a geographic ownership model, assigning officers to specific zones and smaller subdivisions called atoms. This ensures a more tailored and responsive approach to service calls, proactive engagement, and community problem solving. Inspector Fenwick touched on the role that our tactical analysis play and how we identify hotspots across the city and strategically allocate resources and implement timely response strategies. So I won't touch on that. So to start with the crime trends, which continue to evolve, in 2024, the South District accounted for nearly 47% of all property crime in Regina. This represents a slight increase of 3.4% from last year. However, it's important to note that when we dig into the specific types of property crime, we actually saw notable decreases in key areas over the last 3 years. Break and enters dropped by 18% since 2022. theft from auto, and theft of auto saw a combined drop of over 34%, and mischief offenses decreased by more than 20% compared to their peak in 2023. So these trends reflect the impact of focused patrols, data-informed deployment, and community cooperation. I'll just provide a slight rationale for the 47% property crime rate. So with more residents, homes, and businesses, there's naturally more opportunity for property crime. This area includes several large retail corridors and shopping centers, which can be appealing to property offenders looking for easy targets. These locations attract non-residents, increasing foot traffic and anonymity for offenders to commit crimes and leave the area quickly, reducing the chances of being caught. As for crimes against the person, the South District made up 32.1% of citywide incidents, a 2% increase from 2023, but just under 1/3 of the city offenses. The Southeast Zone continues to experience the highest volume of these incidents, followed by the South, East, and then Southwest zones. We observed a 7.8% increase in assault offenses, which included all levels of assault and sexual assault, while robbery incidents declined by 6.3%, which is a positive development. So these shifts help guide where we focus our education, enforcement, and prevention resources when possible. So some of the things that we manage in the South would be our School Resource Officer Program, or SROs. So this program places police officers directly in schools to build positive relationships with students and staff. These officers provide education on safety and legal topics, help with investigations or incidents that happen at school specifically, and support a safe and inclusive learning environment. Their goal is to be a trusted resource for youth while helping prevent crime through education and early intervention. Despite disruptions from a province-wide teacher strike last year, our SROs remain deeply involved in schools throughout the district. So they conducted 214 educational presentations on topics like bullying, drugs, gangs, and interpersonal violence. They completed 223 lockdown and safety drills, keeping students and staff prepared for emergencies. Officers also generated over 1,100 investigative reports and engaged in more than 200 conflict resolution meetings, often resolving situations without formal charges and using mediation, compassion, and education in these situations. Two standout educational partnerships that we're involved in are the Law Enforcement and Criminology Program at Campus Regina Public, excuse me, with 51 students graduated in '24 and continues to prepare youth for careers in law enforcement and public safety. The other one is the Scott Police Academy, which fosters leadership and civic engagement. This year, the program expanded partnerships with emergency services, other emergency services in the city, and emphasized inclusion, with 56% of students identified as Indigenous, and one was honored as the valedictorian. Some of our community-based collaborations, we've got several interagency initiatives that continue to be pillars of our proactive response model here at RPS. TRIP, as I mentioned, the Regina Intersectoral Partnership, is a team effort between schools, police, healthcare, and social services to support young people who are at risk of falling into trouble or facing challenges at home or school. It focuses on early intervention, bringing services together to create a plan and reduce risk before bigger problems develop. The program is built on consent and collaboration, aiming to improve the well-being of youth and their families. TRIP received 132 referrals in 2024. It connects youth and families to supports across education, health, and justice. The trend is shifting, and more referrals are coming from the Catholic school system as opposed to the public, which has led to increased caseloads and wait lists, but they still manage the large caseload. Second would be the Hub. The Hub is a collaborative initiative that brings together professionals from various agencies, such as police, health, education, and social services. These are to help individuals and families facing complex, high-risk situations. When someone's identified as being at an elevated risk due to issues like mental health struggles, substance use, criminal involvement, or family conflict, the Hub team meets to quickly connect them with the right supports. The goal is early intervention and coordinated action so that people get help before a problem escalates into emergencies or criminal activity. The hub table brought together multiple agencies to manage 71 high-risk referrals, with the leading concerns being mental health, substance use, and antisocial behavior. Next is our police and crisis team, our PAC team. This pairs a police officer with a mental health professional to respond to calls involving people in crisis, often due to mental illness or addiction. Instead of just enforcing the law, the team helps individuals get the support they need, such as connecting them to health services or avoiding unnecessary arrests or hospital visits. It's about addressing the root causes, improving outcomes for vulnerable individuals. So PACT worked with over 1,200 clients experiencing mental health and addiction crises. And through these interventions, 49 arrests were diverted, 134 people were diverted from emergency departments, and 353 individuals were connected to mental health services. The expansion to a third full-time PAC team in 2024 had been instrumental in extending our coverage and improving outcomes for those in crisis. And a fourth full-time PAC team proposal is waiting for approval and resources to allow for future coverage across all 4 patrol shifts equally. Some of our other public safety and partnerships beyond our frontline work, the South District continues to build strong relationships with key public institutions that fall within the South District. One is our Regina International Airport. So we responded to 44 calls for service, most commonly for theft or assisting the RCMP. And while it doesn't draw heavily on our resources, we remain active through safety committees and emergency planning should an event occur at the airport. We've supported events and responded to incidents at the University of Regina, the Legislative Building in Wascana Park, so we're reinforcing our commitment to public safety across all those settings as well. And then we have a collaboration with our Saskatchewan Health Authority peace officers, and this has been a major efficiency win for us. By transferring custody of clients under the Mental Health Act, we saved an estimated 1,500 officer hours in 2024 alone. That's a huge time reserve for us. So just in closing, 2024 was a year of growth, progress, and continued collaboration for the South District. Despite some of the challenges that come with rapid development, shifting demographics and increasing demands on our resources, our teams have remained focused on proactive policing, community engagement, and building strong partnerships across all of our sectors. From a crime prevention and school engagement to mental health support and cross-agency interventions, the South District continues to evolve in how we serve the public. We're seeing the impact of data-driven strategies, early intervention models like TRIP and PACT, and our commitment to being visible, accessible, and responsive in pretty much every neighborhood in the South. What's most encouraging is that behind every statistic are the people, residents, students, officers, and partners working together to make Regina safer and more connected. The work's complex, but our direction's clear: collaborate, adapt, and stay rooted in the community. So we're proud of what we've accomplished this year. We're committed to building on this momentum, and we look ahead to 2025. So thank you for your ongoing support and for your shared commitment to public safety in our city. Thanks.
Thank you, Inspector Jaku. Any questions from anybody on the board?
Yes. There's a note here in relation to Legislative Building and the Wascana Center. So that kind of area is supported by community support officers, correct? And could you give us a bit of a kind of conversation piece around that relation between RPS, and are they provincially mandated, or is that an arm of the municipality?
Yeah, we met with the community safety officers as well as the Provincial Capital Commission just last week to discuss some of the issues that they're experiencing in the park with, kids out front of the ledge and the traffic issues and concerns from residents in the area, as well as the park. So we've tried to maintain, collaboration and partnerships with them. I think it was just 2 weeks ago that we participated, our traffic unit participated in a traffic initiative, a joint initiative to show that we are working together in those areas. Although they're responsible for the parks, the community safety officers, I believe there's 5 of them now, working on 10-hour shifts that try to take as much responsibility for the park as possible. They've got a limited mandate in what they're allowed to enforce and under what bylaws. And then we've got the ledge security, working with them as well for any issues or concerns or events, protests, demonstrations, and things like that at the ledge to try to make sure that we're prepared, aware, involved, and informed on what's happening there.
Perfect, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I would ask Inspector Brad Walter now to present the Central District report.
Good morning, Mayor Bashinsky and Chair Bither and members of the board. I'm Inspector Brad Walter. I am the inspector for the Central District for Regina. Thank you for the opportunity to present the Regina Police Service Central District year-end report for 2024. The Central District consists of the North Central community, the Heritage community, and the downtown core. They include communities such as Everest Place, Mosaic Stadium, and Victoria Park. Central District is divided into two patrol zones, the North Central Zone and the South Central Zone, which also includes the downtown. Central District is managed by one inspector, that would be me, and a staff sergeant. We currently have 54 patrol members dispersed over 4 shifts assigned to the Central District. And in 2024, we had an ARO sergeant and 8 ARO positions within the downtown, as well as 8 police beat members. This is a 2024 year-end report, but I will start by noting that in 2025, we have added a beat sergeant to our group and have combined the beat officers and the AROs into one unit called the Downtown Safety Team. Moving to the crime report, the Central District Management utilizes reported crime data to identify areas of concern or hotspots within the district. The Central District Staff Sergeant uses this data to develop responses to allocate police resources to address these issues. In 2024, some of the results would be crimes against property. The Central District accounted for approximately 24.3% of all property crime reported in Regina, and this is consistent with the year before. The North Central had 55% of all reported property crimes in the Central District, compared to the South Central at 45, and that's also consistent with the previous year. 3-year comparison of property crimes, they've decreased in 2024. All break and enter, theft from auto, theft of auto, and mischief have all decreased. The total property crimes in 2024 were 1,462, which has decreased 18% since last year. And just another note, I did a little bit of digging back into a little bit of older data, and it shows that since 2019, where we had a peak of 2,415 total violations, we've decreased 39% since 2019. So a little bit of a decrease through the COVID years, and we've been able to maintain that decrease. Crimes against person. Central District accounted for 39.1% of all reported crimes against the person in Regina. The North Central Zone was higher than the South Central. North Central was at 62%. And again, both those numbers are consistent with the previous year. And then our 3-year comparison of crimes against the person. Assaults decreased slightly in 2024, down to 1,029. This has been returned to previous levels of 1,043 assaults in 2019. So we had a low point in 2022 of 742, which was a significant decrease, which may be attributed to COVID, less people being in the downtown, those kinds of things. But we're back at a level, it's increased, but we're back at a level that we were seeing prior to COVID. And Central District compared to other districts, the Central District saw a 0.2% increase in 2024 in the percentage of occurrences, and the actual number of occurrences in the district also increased by 0.1%. So very consistent numbers year over year. Talk a little bit about some of the units that operate in the Central District. The first one will be the beat. Things have changed in 2025. As I said, we've created the Downtown Safety Team, but for the year 2024, we had our beat officers still operating under the patrol structure, and they would serve the downtown area. Their mandate was to work with downtown partners, including Regina Business Improvement District, the Cornwall Center, the Regina Public Library, as well as many others. Those are just 3 more of the bigger ones. The beat officers provided bicycle and foot patrols in the downtown area, which assisted them in attending events at Victoria Park, Scar Street Mall, and the Cornwall Center. In 2024, the beat was actively involved in a collaborative effort to address challenges experienced with Regina Transit involving disruptive youth riders. The beat officers conducted random checks on the buses that are waiting at the transfer hub. They would talk to the drivers, they would do random walkthroughs on the buses, encounter individuals on the buses, and just show an officer presence. We also implemented a bi-monthly meeting between myself and the transit manager to discuss any issues that they were having, trying to address some of the drivers' concerns around safety. So we've continued that into 2025. In fact, I think tomorrow is our next meeting, so we'll be discussing any issues that they have. And then again, as I've mentioned, a highlight for 2024 was the establishment of the RPS Alternative Response Officer Program. The ARROW program was implemented through the efforts of one of our sergeants, Sergeant Alexander's at the back of the room. Sergeant Alexander did an exceptional job last year starting the program from scratch. She did all of the research, worked with the provincial government to set up the program structure, developed the training program, working in collaboration with other police agencies. And then we hired 8 AROs and put them through 5 weeks of in-service training, and that was completed in the fall of 2024. And then the AROs were deployed with our downtown beat members for 8 weeks of field training, which was concluded in early December. So as I mentioned a couple of times, in 2025, we combined this all into a downtown safety team with another beat sergeant. So we will have a much bigger presence and have had a much bigger presence starting in January of this year. So we're seeing good results from that. The Central District Patrol members continue to build relationships with the business community in the South Central Zone. In 2024, we continued what we called our 11th Avenue Initiative, which would be just right along this area and behind the police station. We tasked various patrol members from that area to take a one block radius, and they were to meet with every business on a regular basis, check in with them to see if they had any concerns. At the time we implemented this, I think it was in 2023, we had a significant concern from businesses around addictions and houselessness and mental health. And so that was one of our responses to try to build up business relationships and help them work through some of the concerns that they had. And we've continued that on in 2024. The feedback we received from that was very positive. The businesses felt supported, and some of those relationships began to grow. Another initiative that we took on to try to deal with the concerns we had in the downtown in 2024 was the Downtown Police Presence Initiative. In July and August, which are typically our busiest months in the downtown area, we heard that there was some concerns between the hours of 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. with people, business owners particularly, or people working downtown. So we brought officers out on overtime for 2 weeks in July, and then approximately another week and a half in August. And we tasked them with going, kind of doing like a grid pattern and covering every street and going and talking with every business owner and seeing what concerns they had, if there was anything we could do immediately or pass on to the beat members or to the district to solve problems. And it was very well received. We'll see this year if we do it again with the downtown safety team and the numbers we have there. We may not need to do that initiative again because they'll be able to cover that work. But it is an option available to us if we need it. The Central District also did a few other initiatives in the North Central. We have, which is standard throughout the 3 zones, the Proactive Initiative of the Week. So our staff sergeant will analyze trends and data and come up with a hotspot, actually 2 hotspots each week, and we task the people working, the members working in that zone or that area to spend time on that initiative, that area of concern, and then report back to us what they found, if they found anything, how much time they spent there, and it gives us an opportunity to put targeted focus on areas of concern. So throughout 2024, we continued to build relationships throughout the North Central and the South Central and the downtown. We've been very collaborative in our approach, and we had some challenges, but I think we're seeing some results based on the increased presence, particularly in the downtown, and it's something we're definitely going to be building on in 2025. So that's all the information I have, and I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Inspector Walter. Any questions from anybody? Thank you. Yeah.
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you for the work, building those relationships with the businesses downtown. I appreciate all the various initiatives that you guys are working on there. So just want to say I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was going to echo the same thing through the acting chief, that I want to thank Inspector Fenwick and Inspector Jacku and Inspector Walter for all the good work. And I know it's not easy at day to day dealing with different issues and challenges, but we really appreciate all the work that you guys do in the field. Thank you. And thank you for the report. So can I have a motion to receive and file this report, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. We will have the next report, PO 25-10, monthly crime statistics. Chief Davis, can you please introduce the report?
Thank you so much. So March was mostly a good news story. So we saw a year-to-date decrease of 15.9% of crimes against the person, while crimes against the property also saw a decrease of 5.2%. Some of the notables, there was a decrease of 3.4% in robberies, which when you're still early in the year is only 2 incidents, but it is still two less victimizations, and a decrease of 33% in level 1 assaults. So again, that's good news, and a decrease of 38% in break and enter reports. So again, our frontline and our aerial support and our property crimes units are really working hard to hold offenders accountable for those break and enters. The not so good news is in regards to arsons. So we've reported now a year-to-date increase of 55%. So that's 43 more arson incidents throughout the year. We did undertake late last year to break down those arsons, so it's a bit more descriptive in terms of what they are. So we're still seeing that the vast majority of those are bin fires, so a 70% increase in bin fires. And so that's a total of 63 incidents so far this year. Also, other arsons, you'll note, is a 94% increase, and that would capture things such as a detached garage, a shed, other structure that's located on a property, and so again, that is a pressure point for us. We continue to work very closely with Regina Fire and Protective Services with their investigators to hold offenders accountable. We typically do see for arsons that we have 1 or 2 prolific people that can have a big impact in the community, and so we're working diligently to gather as much evidence as we can, whether that be video or getting information from witnesses or encouraging people to report on Crime Stoppers. So again, that is a little bit of a pressure point for us so far this year. I would also highlight traffic tickets towards the bottom of the page are up 20% to just about 2,800 issued so far this year. And certainly Inspector Fenwick highlighted, we've got additional resources in our traffic unit this year, and so want to highlight the good work that they're doing. And specifically in regard to cell phone charges, you'll see on the second page are up 100% from the previous year with 280 tickets so far until the end of March. And I asked for a breakdown of those numbers. Our traffic unit has issued 112 of those, with 1 officer issuing 72. So cell phone tickets and distracted driving is certainly something he's very passionate about, and so certainly want to highlight that good work as well. In terms of a couple notable incidents from last year, just want to highlight our drug unit on March 2nd. Patrol conducted a traffic stop. They seized a number of items, including $12,000, 700 grams of fentanyl, 166 grams of meth, and 92 grams of cocaine. 2 people in the vehicle were both charged with 3 counts of possession of a scheduled substance for the purpose of trafficking, proceeds of crime, and possession of counterfeit money. So that was a really good traffic stop by our front line. On March 5th, members of our crime reduction team, starting in January, our crime reductions team had done a very extensive investigation that was wrapped up on March 5th. And it was somebody who was trafficking drugs from a residence in Regina. They arrested and charged a 43-year-old female with trafficking, unauthorized possession of a restricted weapon, and possession of property obtained by crime. So again, a really good investigative outcome there. And then on March 6th, during a routine traffic stop, our members located thousands of dollars in cash, a stun gun, 188 grams of cocaine, 121 grams of methamphetamine, other drugs, and 600 illegal cigarettes. The driver also had open alcohol, was a suspended driver, so we had a couple people charged there. So again, just speaks to the value of traffic stops by our front line and the drugs and firearms that they're taking certainly off our streets. And then on March 7th, we had a vehicle who our patrol officers attempted to pull over. They accelerated away, evaded police. Our air support unit was able to locate the vehicle, and it was eventually stopped outside of Balgoni, and we had a couple people charged in that incident as well. So again, that air support unit is certainly a big game changer for us, and so, highlight the good work of that unit. And I just want to highlight just a couple of events coming up in the next couple of weeks that are really important for the RPS and for our community. On Monday, May 5th, we will be hosting our 4th annual Jingle Dress for Red Dress Day. And this is held at the Mama Waitanton Centre on the back patio, but May 5th is Red Dress Day in Canada. And this is, as I mentioned, our 4th event, but it was on the advice of our Elders Advisory Council that we should raise awareness and encourage healing on that day. So certainly want to highlight that event that is upcoming. We are honoring our victim services volunteers on May 15th. So some of the great work that they do in reaching out to the victims of crimes that are reported to us and really volunteering the goodness of their hearts and wanting to give back to the community. So we'll say thank you to them. And also on Monday, our Treaty 4 Citizens Police Academy starts. So that's a 2-week program. We have 20 individuals in the program this year. It's a great 2-week program where they are immersed out at the University of Regina at First Nations University and learn a little bit about career in policing. We have elders come in. There's some traditional learnings. And so that's a really good event for us as well. And they'll be graduating on May 16th. And then finally, on May 21st is our annual stakeholder breakfast, and so that's a great opportunity for us to hear from all of our stakeholders in the community on things we are doing well, on things we can do better, and things that they would like us to work on going forward. So again, that's a very fantastic event for us to hear from the community and our partners on where we need to be going for 2025. So that's everything I want to highlight for March, but certainly happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Does the board have any questions? Good. Robert?
Glad to see our bird back in the air and the good progress on that front. So nice to see. My question is in relation to the camera registry program. Wondering if we have any general insight into how that is progressing. Thank you.
I do. Let me find that information. I believe we have over 300 signed up for the program. I do have it here somewhere. I think it was 306 that have signed up so far. So continuing that momentum, we have it on our social media channels regularly to encourage people to sign up, but it's really been a good program and really good uptake for us. And so thank you for highlighting it, and certainly we would encourage anyone else who has access to those cameras to go online. It really is a simple process to sign up.
Perfect. No, wonderful. Good to see those numbers increasing. I'm sure we'll see the results of that in the coming months. Thank you.
Anyone else on the board? All right. Oh, sorry.
I just have a comment as well. As Robert mentioned, great to see the bird back in the air. I was driving down Ring Road the other day, and my wife pointed out, "Is that a plane? Is that following us?" And I had to tell her that's what it is.
Yeah, we certainly we do see good results, and I know that our patrol officers do rely on it when it's up in the air. They'll call out, "Hey, Air One, we're like to do a traffic stop in this area. Could you just keep an eye on us?" And so it certainly is a great asset for us, and we certainly thank the board and our partners at SGI and Civil Forfeiture for helping offset the cost of that plane. But it really has been a game changer for our organization and for reducing crime and holding offenders accountable for sure. But they don't follow people on Ring Road unless you're doing something very bad.
Well, let's Hope not. No, thank you. Thank you for that. I really want to encourage the citizens for the camera registry. The ASU is definitely a good tool for RPS as well, and I can see that the numbers, especially the auto theft and theft from the auto, is going down. Break and enter is also a good thing. I do see that there is pressure on some other areas, assault and robbery as being one of the other, maybe a lot of repeat offense there. So we'll continue to work through that, and I have a full trust in the RPS and the service they have been providing. So thank you for that. And I'm seeing no other questions. So can I have a motion to receive and file the report, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, carried. So can I have a resolution for a private session, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. We'll recess for 20 minutes and for the media's come. Thank you.